I think there's two shots all amateur golfers want to be able to play. The nuked 300-yard drive off the tee and the super spinning low wedge into the green.
Wide open, he's going to kind of release it with his hands just a little bit, kind of flick it at it. Oh!
I'm definitely no Rory McIlroy, but I have been working on this shot, so let's see what I've got.
Oh my gosh.
So how can regular golfers like you and me master this low spinning check-in wedge shot into the greens? Well, from what I've seen, it's very doable, but there's really three big keys to figuring it out. The first is just the non-negotiables that have nothing to do with technique. The second is the golf science behind it and what makes it happen. And the third one, if you just need it dumbing down like me, is a really good practice hack that will get you there quicker. Let's start with the non-negotiables. Spin's created by friction, so whichever way you look at it, the equipment that you use is going to have a big impact on the friction, the amount of spin that you create. So you're going to want wedges with good, fresh, clean grooves. Probably looking at something like a 60 degree if you really want to max out the spin. You're also needing to have a premium golf ball. So I've got the Pro V1. You don't have to use this, obviously, but you want a premium, softer one with the good covers on them. Once you've got your equipment sorted, you're going to want to keep them as clean and dry as possible. So like the pros, they've got caddies that are cleaning them all through the round. That's what you need to do, because grass, dirt, and moisture are all friction killers. So once you start adding those in through the round, you're automatically going to reduce the amount of spin that you can create. The other big non-technique related factor is the type of turf that you're playing on, and the reality is different golf courses have different turf. Some are more conducive to spinning than others. But get your non-negotiables right, and straight away you're giving yourself a chance at creating spin. And we'll take that one. Next part is what I'm calling the golf science of it all, and I got this technical explanation from a golf pro, so strap in. We know spin is created by friction, and the friction is determined by the spin loft. Spin loft is the difference between dynamic loft and angle of attack. So dynamic loft is the amount of loft on the club face at impact, and angle of attack is the angle at which the club face moves through impact. If you're still with me, the sweet spot for spin loft is between 50 and 56 degrees. Above that, and the ball slips off the club face. Below that, and it doesn't generate enough spin potential. Apparently a tour level expert that's really good at this, someone different to me, is going to typically use a 60-degree wedge. They're going to have about 15 degrees of shaft lean, so that lean forward, which is going to knock the dynamic loft down to about 45 degrees. But then when that's coupled with a 5 to 10 degree angle of attack, all of a sudden they're in that sweet spot. They're in that ideal window for creating spin. Easy, you're welcome. Jokes aside though, that is where I've started with this, and I've been making some quite good progress. For me, I've put that extra focus on keeping the wedges clean. I know I've got sharp grooves because I've gone for the new Ping S159 wedges. I was due a change, so it was a good timing for me. In terms of the golf ball, like I said before, I am using a premium one. I've got the Titleist Pro V1. Doesn't have to be this, but it is going to make a difference, the equipment that you do use. In terms of the feels that are working for me, I like to have the ball about the middle of my stance, middle to back if anything, and I stand quite square to the target. From there, I'm happy to open the face, but I do try and get a little bit more of my weight on the left-hand side and get the hands a little bit further forward. The other big thing that I'm working on is this sense of keeping the club a little bit outside my hands is the thought that I've got on the way back, and fairly low on the way through. The biggest focus is definitely hitting down on it and getting the strike, getting that nice ball first, turf second contact. The third thing that I spoke about, and I called it a practice hack, but really it's a training aid, is something I found when I really needed to get my focus better on that ball first clean contact. And this is a product called a strike wedge. And basically when you calibrate this with the app that they've got on their website and your golf clubs, it works out the exact distance to place this behind the golf ball to create the right angle of attack and to give you that feedback on where you should be striking the ground, what the angle should be, and really give you something that you can use to work on during your sessions. It gives me the ideal distance to place the strike wedge behind the golf ball. One of the pieces that comes with it has a ruler on it, so you can measure that out, you can work out the exact spot. But from there you're going to know that if you hit it, if you're hitting a good centered ball first strike, that's the optimum angle of attack for the shot that you're trying to play. So it's straight away giving you that feedback. If you're catching the wedge, obviously your low point is too far back, you're hitting it heavy. Whereas if you can start making that strike that's obviously not making contact with the strike wedge, it's giving you that feedback that you're actually getting your low point, your impact, much more where it needs to be, much more at the optimum angle to hit really great little spinners like that. I love the feedback from it. Like everything with my game, it's all a big work in progress. But I do think there's some merit to this strike wedge product, so I will put the link below the video, just in case it's something that you think might help with whatever the situation is in your own game. You never know. Could be the thing that you're looking for. Build in all those other non-negotiables and well, you might be hitting those little zippers sooner than you were thinking. Hope something in this video helped you, and if it did, maybe consider subscribing. But either way, hopefully I'll see you in another one soon.